Hi everyone, this is Ben Dunnett from www.musictheoryacademy.com. In this session we're going to look at an introduction to chords. We're going to ask the question, what is a triad? How do we make a triad? And the four types of triad. So firstly, what is a triad? Well, a triad is simply three notes played together. You've got a root note, you've got a middle note, and you've got a top note. Okay? The root note, the middle note, otherwise known as the third, and the top note, otherwise known as the fifth. Now you may say, well, that sounds to me like a chord. And in many ways, and a lot of times, the chords that you'll come across, triads and chords are the same. However, the more you get into playing chords, you'll find that not all chords have three notes. Some have four notes, some have five notes. And if you get into playing jazz and other complex music such as that, you may even come across chords that have 6 or even 7 notes. But when you're basically starting out, the simple chords that you will come across will probably be triads, so 3 notes played on top of each other. So how do we go about making a triad? Well, let's look at an example. We're going to build a triad based on the note C, and we're going to have 3 notes played together. Now C is our root note, okay, our bottom note. Our middle note will be E, because that's our third, and our top note G, because that's our fifth. So we're building it number 1, number 3, and number 5. Our root note, our middle note, and our fifth note. And here it is shown on the sheet music here. You've got a C, E, and a G. And if we play those, you can hear that is the sound of a triad. Now, that's fairly straightforward, but here's the tricky bit. Depending on whatever note you decide to build your triad, if you just use the white notes, you'll get a very different sound. And so we need to have a look at the different types of triad. There are 4 different types of triad that you'll come across. The first 2 I've called the happy and the sad triads. Have a listen to these. You hear how the first one sounds happy, it sounds positive and uplifting. The second one, however, sounds quite sad. The first one is what we call a major triad, and the second one is what we call a minor triad. So why do they sound different? They sound different because of the number of semitones between each of the notes. Let me explain. Here's our C major triad. This was the first triad I was playing. You've got your C, your E, and a G. Those are the 3 notes that make up the triad. Now here I've written in how many semitones are in between each note. So to get from C up to E, you have to go up 4 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4. To get from C up to G, you have to go up 7 semitones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're particularly interested in how many to get us to that E, 4 semitones, because that's an interval called a major third, and that's where we get this major triad from. The other example, the sad sounding triad, the minor triad, I built on A. Now can you see in this example, there's only 3 semitones between the root note A and the middle note, the third C, whereas there was 4 semitones here. Now that interval is a minor third, and that's where we get the difference in sound from. The other 2 types of triad that I want us to have a look at are what I term the scary and the mysterious triads. Have a listen to this. The first one, the scary one, we call a diminished triad, and the second one we call an augmented triad. Again, the differences between them are down to the semitones. Here's the diminished triad. Now we start on C. It was a C diminished triad I was playing, but this time it's going to be an E flat, so there's only 3 semitones between the first and the third. And then can you see something strange has gone on with this fifth note as well? That has been moved down, so there's only 6 semitones now between the C and the top note, the G flat. Okay, and that is called a diminished triad. And what it is it's got, here's a minor third, and then it's also got another minor third on top of it. And it's almost like that major triad has been crushed. It's been made smaller, it's been diminished, and that's where you get the name from. The other one, the C augmented triad, you've got C as your root note, you've got E as your middle note, so you've got this 4 semitones here, you've got a major third, and then can you see the fifth note here, the top note, has been pushed up, so there's now 8 semitones between the C and the G sharp that you play at the top. It's almost like the C major triad has been stretched, it's been made bigger, it's been augmented, and again that's where you get the name augmented triad from. So you've got this diminished triad and you've got the augmented triad. So we had a look at what a triad is, 3 notes on top of each other. We've looked at how to make a triad. You've got a first, you've got a root note, you've got a third, the middle note, and you've got a fifth, the top note. And then we've also had a look at the 4 types of triad. The major, which is happy, the minor, which is sad, the diminished, which is scary, and the augmented, which is mysterious. And remember, the only differences between these different triads is the number of semitones that go on between each of the notes that make up the triad. Go to www.musictheoryacademy.com to get more free music theory lessons and take your musicianship to the next level.